Let's build some shortcuts, but not just any shortcuts. These are 15 useful shortcuts you asked for in the comments. From automating silence unknown callers to home ETA shortcuts, quickly saving your clipboard on iPhone, settings automations, hotspots, podcasting, and more. I will build these shortcuts from scratch so you can follow along, but the ones that can be downloaded, I'll put links down in the video description. To give you an idea, these are some of the shortcuts we're building today. And before we get started, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Lots of shortcuts content, including a playlist with easy shortcuts if you're just getting started. All right, number one, toggling silence unknown callers in an automation. Let's open the Shortcuts app, and now we're gonna go to the Automations tab at the bottom. We'll hit the plus button for a new automation, and this request was between two times, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So let's choose time of day. We can get real specific. We'll run this daily and also run immediately. We don't wanna have to confirm the shortcut. Automations are less useful that way. Also, no notification when it's run. We'll go to next. And from this screen, sometimes you don't see all the actions, so tap New Blank Automation. From here, we can now search for the setting Silence Unknown Callers. And we can leave it set Turn Silence Unknown Callers on. That means every day at 7 p.m., Silence Unknown Callers will be on, and anyone not in your contacts will be sent straight to voicemail. Now, in order to toggle this, we will need to create a second automation. That turns on at 7 p.m. every day. So let's do another automation. This one for 7 a.m. Remember, run immediately, no notification, new blank automation, and we can do turn silence unknown callers off. Now at 7 a.m. every day, people not in your contacts will still be able to get through to you, but you know at night, only friends and family are gonna get through. By the way, if you ever wanna delete an automation, you just swipe right to left and hit delete. All right, this next request is to have a manual home ETA. This is not an automation. We're actually just gonna hit the plus button to create a new shortcut. Now I'm gonna start with a menu option, because I want to be able to choose from a couple different places. Maybe it's work and the gym. So I'll choose from menu. Let's actually do those two options, work and gym. Now my previous home ETA shortcut would calculate where you are finding your location, how long it will take you to get home, and then automatically send a text to a significant other with that time. But if you don't want your phone having to ping your location for this shortcut, you can do manual addresses here. So now I'm gonna search for the action called address, and we'll choose street address. We'll drag this under the work section, and here you can put in a work address. So I put in my work address there, and now we'll add another address block for the gym. All right, now that we have a work address and a gym address, I'm actually gonna set a variable. I know this is not necessary, you can use magic variables, but I like just doing this for ease of referring to it later in the shortcut. I'm just gonna call this variable from. Now we need to add one more street address. This is going to be below the menu choice. And this will need to be your home address. I'm gonna set another variable and let's call this home. No, this is not my home address. This is a Dunkin' Donuts. Now we're gonna choose this Get Travel Time option. If you don't see it here in the suggestions, you can always search for Get Travel Time. And here we have Get Driving Directions, which you can actually change to biking, transit, or even walking. And we're gonna get that driving time from, long press if it says current location, and we're gonna say from, that's the variable from the menu shortcut, to home. So it's gonna get our driving time from one of these manual addresses in the menu to our home address. Now I'm gonna add a text to action because I like to customize it a little bit. And I'll say be home in, and then I'll choose the travel time variable. You can also choose arrival time and say something like I'll be home at. And then the last action can be message a contact. Choose messages, send message. It will automatically choose the previous text field, and then you can choose to any contact you would like. I'm gonna replace that action with a quick look action just so we could see what this actually does. If I hit play, you see I can choose where I'm traveling from. Let's choose work. It will calculate that distance, and the text is be home in 4 minutes. If you had that messages action at the bottom, it will send this text message to that person. If I run it again and choose a different menu option like the gym, you'll see the travel time is different and we're good to go. And that Get Travel Time action is live, so if there's traffic or anything that might slow you down, you'll see that ETA in minutes actually change depending on conditions. Now this next question is asking about saving your clipboard. This is a great action to use either with the action button on the 15 Pro, or you can use a back tap. I'm gonna hit the plus button to create a new shortcut, and the first action is going to be Get Clipboard. I'll choose Get Clipboard here, and now I'm gonna search for another action. We'll go for Notes. And when I tap the built-in Apple Notes application, you get a bunch of new options. Now you can choose to create a new note within a folder, or you can choose to append the note. For right now, I'll do Create Note, and you'll see it'll create a note with the clipboard. And I'm actually gonna go over to my Notes app real quick, because let me create a new folder just for this. We can just call it Clipboard, and then hit Done. Now I have a new clipboard folder of notes. We'll go back to the shortcut, and I wanna create a note with the clipboard in, and I'll choose my Clipboard Notes folder. That's really all you have to do. We'll rename this shortcut Clipboard Saves, and I'll hit done. So let's try this out. Now I'm gonna map this shortcut to the Action button on my iPhone 15 Pro. I'll go to Action button, go over to Shortcut, and let's search our shortcuts for Clipboard. And here you'll see Clipboard Saves as an option. I'll tap that, and now whenever we do the Action button, it's gonna send our clipboard to a new note in the Notes app. Let's try a couple. Let's do test 1, test 2, and test 3. Now if I highlight one, I'll tap copy. Now test 1 is on our clipboard. I'll hit the Action button. It'll run our shortcut. It might ask for this the first time. I'll click Always Allow, and now it's created that note. I'll copy test 2, hit the Action button, copy test 3, Action button one more time, and now you'll see we've created a new note in our Clipboards folder every time we hit the Action button. It was opening the Notes application every time, which is not ideal. And so for that, I'm gonna expand that last action and toggle off the Open When Run. Let me hit done. Let's try it one more time. We'll call it test 4, copy, Action button. You'll see it run in the dynamic island, but it didn't open the Notes app. If I go to the Notes app, you'll now see test 4 was a new note, and I can easily save whatever's on my clipboard just by hitting the Action button. Now, if you didn't want to create a new note every time you hit it, you could choose Append to Note, then lets you choose a single note, and it will just keep adding the clipboard saves to a single note. Next is using the backtap feature to translate something with a shortcut. I showed in one of my last videos that I'll link up here that you can use the Action button for live translation. But if you don't have a 15 Pro, we'll create a new shortcut called Translate Tap. I'm going to search for my first action called Dictate Text. I'll tap that action. If I expand this, you can set what language it's listening for, and then the stop listening, you can say after pause, short pause, or have to tap in order to stop listening. I can choose Translate Text as the next action. You can have it detect the language or manually set which language you're speaking and choose what you're going to translate it to. And then you can also search for the action Speak Text so it actually speaks it back to you. This is going to speak the translated text. There's a bunch of options here. Wait until finished, changing the rate, the pitch. And I'm going to choose Spanish down here in the Speak Text action as well. So let's try this. Where can I find the nearest restaurant?
¿Dónde puedo encontrar el restaurante más cercano?
Shortcut works great. Now we can go to the Settings app, go down to Accessibility, go to Touch, and at the bottom you'll see Back Tap is an option. If I go to Back Tap, I can set Double Tap as our new Translate Tap shortcut. Got a lot of shortcuts, so I got to get all the way down. We'll choose Translate Tap, and now wherever we are on the iPhone, I can double tap and we'll activate this shortcut. Let's try it. Where can I find the nearest restaurant?
¿Dónde puedo encontrar el restaurante más cercano?
Now we have a back tap translation shortcut. Next, can you enable personal hotspot whenever the iPhone is connected to power? Absolutely. For this, we're going to go back to the Automations tab. And just a reminder, I can't share automations for you to download, so you will need to build these manually. In the Automations tab, I'll hit the plus button, and let's go down to Charger. This is a trigger that whenever the phone is connected to a charger, and then you can create another one when it's disconnected, that you can run an action. I'm going to choose Run Immediately, no confirmation or notification needed. Let's go to New Blank Automation, and this will work whether it's wired power or wireless. It only detects when it's charging. Then we can search for the actions here. I'll type in Hotspot. Let's choose Set Personal Hotspot, and we can turn Hotspot on or off with this automation. One action, piece of cake. And then you can also choose to create a second automation that will turn Hotspot off when you disconnect it from power. All right, this next question is actually asking about connecting to a specific network and then playing a playlist to a HomePod. Yes, it's possible, but first I'm going to show you kind of a bonus shortcut, which is to create a QR code that whenever someone scans it, they automatically connect to your Wi-Fi. This is one of the shortcuts you'll be able to download in the video description. If I play this shortcut, you can choose to either get the current Wi-Fi network you're connected to or type in your Wi-Fi network name. I'll choose current network. You'll enter the Wi-Fi password here, whatever your password is. It's not mine, don't try it. And then hit done. It's going to generate a QR code, and when someone scans this, they'll connect to your Wi-Fi. Now this works because there's a URL scheme that allows anyone to connect to any Wi-Fi network if you use this scheme right here. I'll type this down in the video description as well, so you can just customize it. I'll put network in all caps and password in all caps here, and you replace it with your network name and password. Now to accomplish this shortcut, connect to a specific network, play a playlist, and then send it to a HomePod, all we really need is this URL. I'm going to copy this, and let's create a new shortcut. I'll hit the plus button. We'll call this Connect Wi-Fi and Play. For the first action, I'm going to search for URL. We can choose this right here, and all you have to do is paste the URL scheme with your Wi-Fi network name and your Wi-Fi password here. When this action runs, it's going to connect your device to that Wi-Fi network. You can create a menu option with multiple network names if you'd like, and then we can simply add a music playlist. I can choose the play music action. When I tap that action, I can choose from my library any playlist. Maybe we'll do the favorite songs playlist. You can choose to shuffle or repeat. Now, once it starts playing, I like to add a wait command just to make sure the phone is on the network already and the music is playing. So I'm going to add and search for a wait action, and I'm going to wait 5 seconds. Then the only other action we need to do is set playback destination. I can find that action, choose change playback destination, and I'm going to set or add. You can add like multiple HomePods or AirPlay 2 speakers. Make sure you're connected to the network that you intend to play to. This way, when you tap iPhone here, it'll come up with all the options of your Apple TVs and HomePods, and you can automatically play to any of these speakers. I'll choose Studio, and now when I run this shortcut, it will connect to a Wi-Fi network, start playing one of my playlists, wait a few seconds, and then change the playback destination to HomePods that I've chosen here. Next, let's do some podcast shortcuts, which, by the way, if you hadn't heard, I have a new tech podcast called Primary Technology. You can subscribe with the link down in the video description. It's also a YouTube channel, so go subscribe to that too. In order to create podcast shortcuts, you do need the Apple Podcasts on your phone, and whatever shows you want to add shortcuts for needs to be added and followed here in the podcast app. So make sure you're following the show here. Then if we go back to the Shortcuts app, I'll add a new shortcut, tap plus, and let's search for podcasts. I can go to podcasts here, and you'll see you have multiple options. You can find, follow, get details of the podcast or details of an episode, and even start playing a podcast. Let's choose play podcast. I'll tap here in the action, and then I can choose one of my favorite podcasts, Primary Technology, and it will automatically start playing the latest episode of that podcast. I can also choose to change playback destination like we did in the previous shortcut, and I can automatically start AirPlaying this to a specific HomePod. Now let's say you wanted to get details of the last episode. Let's search for the podcast action again. Let's choose Get Episodes of Podcast. You see, you tap here, and then you can choose one of the podcasts you follow in the app. Then I'm going to choose this action, Get Item from List. I'm going to choose to get the last item, which will actually be the latest item. Then I can choose another action, Get Details of Podcast, and I'll choose to get the store URL, which will actually be the link to the Apple Podcast episode from, and I'll choose Item from List. I'm going to add a quick look action so we can see what this does. And now when I run this, it's going to get the latest episode of Primary Technology and then give me the link to that episode in Apple Podcasts. I can then add a copy to clipboard action at the end, or just a share button if I want to share it on social media. Next up is actually changing the volume of your device when an alarm is going off. This is going to be in the Automations tab of Shortcuts. I'll hit the plus button, and one of the actions is Alarm. So I can create an automation when the alarm goes off. You can see there's other options here, like if the alarm is snoozed or stopped. And this viewer is actually wanting to turn the volume down once he stops the alarm. This way the phone is back at a normal volume. Probably have to turn it all the way up to make sure you're awake. You can actually choose a specific alarm that you have in the clock app, and I'm going to choose Run Immediately, no notification when run. We'll go to Next. Let's choose New Blank Automation, and let's search for volume in the actions. And here I can set the media volume. When I choose this volume action, I now have the option to tap here, and I can change either the media volume, which is like videos, music, and podcasts, or the ringtone volume, and I can change that to a lower percentage. I can also create another automation for time of day that will change the ringtone volume to 100% if I need it to be super loud when I wake up. Hit done, and now this automation is ready to go. When your alarm is stopped, it will turn the ringtone volume down. This next question is, can you turn auto brightness on or off? Unfortunately, this is not an action available in Shortcuts, but there is a URL scheme to go to different settings and quickly toggle them on or off. I'll actually show you a new shortcut I've been using when I film. I have this shortcut called Recording Video. This shortcut does a few things, but one action is it actually opens the settings pane for auto brightness, which is in the accessibility section of settings, using this URL scheme. There's a great page on GitHub that shows lots and lots of URL schemes, and all you have to do is use the Open URL action with that URL, and it'll jump you right to that settings pane. And what I actually have here is, this is going to send me to the auto lock section of settings, because whenever I'm filming a video, I want to make sure the screen never turns off. It waits a few seconds, so I have time to actually set it, and then it actually goes over to that auto brightness setting. So to give you an idea, every time I'm ready to film a video, like this Shortcuts video, I tap Recording Video Shortcut, it sends me to the auto lock settings, I tap Never, it's waiting 3 seconds, and then it sends me to the display and text size, and I can toggle auto brightness off at the very bottom. This has been one of my favorite shortcuts for filming, but if you just want to be able to jump to that settings and accessibility, we can create a new shortcut. All we need is the open URL action, and then I'll paste that URL scheme that goes directly to the auto brightness setting. We'll call this toggle auto brightness, and then whenever I run this shortcut, it sends me right to this settings page with auto brightness at the bottom. This next question is about my auto mute shortcut, which is whenever you open an app, I have the volume go all the way down to 0. I have this for apps like Instagram and TikTok. Just whenever I open the app, I want the volume all the way down so nothing plays loudly without me expecting it. But if you're playing music or podcasts in the background, it can be kind of annoying because it will silence your music and podcasts. So let's create a new automation. We're still going to choose when app is opened. I can tap here for the app. And I actually didn't know this early when I created these shortcuts, but you can tap multiple apps. So let's say Instagram and TikTok. I want this automation to run when I open either of those apps. So you can see this is going to apply to those two apps. When it's open, I want this to run immediately. Don't notify me when it's run. I'll go to Next. New blank automation. Now in shortcuts, there's not a built-in way to see if music is playing. But if you download the third-party app called Actions, I cover this video in my top 24 apps you've never heard of. You can check out that video above or in the description. One of the actions is to get the current status of whether something's playing. One of the actions is audio playing? I'm going to tap that and let that be the first action in the shortcut. Then I need to search for an if statement. I'm going to use the built-in if action in shortcuts. And I'm actually not sure what this action is going to give me. So I'm going to choose to put a text block after it. I want to know what that action is going to say. Again, this is kind of just a troubleshooting thing you can do when you're not sure what an action is actually going to give you. And now I'm going to play this. And in that quick look, it's going to show me, okay, it's a yes or no. Perfect. I can remove that quick look action. Now I'm going to say if text is no, that means if music is not playing, I'm going to search for the set volume action, and I'm going to set the media volume all the way to 0. In the otherwise section, I'm just not going to do anything. So it's going to get the current audio status playing. If that is no, so no music or podcasts are playing, go ahead and set the volume to 0. Otherwise, don't do anything, and your music or podcast will keep playing even when you open Instagram or TikTok. I'll hit done, and now that automation is set. This next action, can you do a shortcut where you run YouTube on your iPhone and then be AirPlayed to an Apple TV? A great shortcut for this will be that set playback destination. This can be a single shortcut action. I'm just going to search for one action, the destination, and I'm going to set it to one of my Apple TVs. I'm going to send it to my studio Apple TV, and that's literally the only action we need. Now to make this more convenient, we can put it as a back tap action or even an action button shortcut. Let's do that. I'll go to my action button, and let's choose Send to Apple TV. Now if I'm going to play a YouTube video, like the latest episode of Primary Technology, I can hit the action button, it will run that shortcut, and then automatically start AirPlaying it to an Apple TV or studio of my choice. And just for proof, there it is, AirPlaying on my Apple TV here in the studio, right as I hit that shortcut. All right, this next request is for an automation that when the battery is at 99%, he wants a home device like an Eve Energy or smart plug to turn off, probably so his phone stops charging. For that, we'll go to the Automations tab, tap the plus button, and then we'll go to Battery Level. It doesn't let me go all the way to 99, but I can choose 95 and when it rises above. So this will trigger when it's at 96%. We're going to run immediately, no confirmation necessary, and no notification. From here, I'll do New Blank Automation, and then let's search for a home control action. I'll choose the Control Your Home Name action, and then tap here, and you can set any device you would like. I'll choose a smart plug here, and I can choose to turn off that smart plug. And now when my battery rises above 95%, it will turn that smart plug off. And finally, Mr. TB wanted to be able to go to that charging optimization setting through a shortcut. While we can't get all the way to that menu, you can use this URL scheme. I'll put a link to this shortcut down in the description. And when I run this shortcut, it brings me all the way to the battery health and charging menu here in settings. Then I can tap charging optimization and choose a different option. There's no direct action for any of these options or to get to this menu specifically, but it'll get you this far, which is pretty close. Oh, nice to see 100% battery health still. I'm going to give you one more bonus shortcut as well. This I can put a link down in the description, and you can select multiple from the files on your iPhone. Makes one PDF from all those files. It could be Word document files, other PDFs, and then asks to save a PDF back to your Files app. This is a great little shortcut to combine several files, or if you just need to make a single PDF out of multiple. That's been fun making some shortcuts that you guys have requested. If you have more, have questions, I'd love to do more videos on shortcuts. I know it's been an oft-requested video, so leave comments below here with your shortcuts request. Of course, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button before you go. And if you want to see those 24 awesome iPhone apps you've never heard of, I'll put that video out right here. And if you missed my Shortcuts 101 video where I go really step-by-step on the basics of shortcuts, I'll put that video right here. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.